Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Chaitanyamanoਭೀष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वप्नान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सागररघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सागरललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण Okay. 1743. So we're discussing this episode of Ashwatthama and how he killed the sons of Pandavas and how Arjuna captured him. Uvacha cha sahantyasya bandhananayanam sati mucchatam esha brahmano nitaram guruhu. You could not tolerate Ashwatthama's being bound by ropes. She is Draupadi here. And being a devoted lady, she said, release him, for he is a Brahmana, our spiritual master. Release him, release him. So she's like not able to tolerate. Twice she's saying. As soon as okay. So here Prabhupada talks about according to revealed scriptures, a teacher or spiritual master is liable to be rejected if he proves himself unworthy of the position of a guru or spiritual master. So here Brahmana is considered as the guru of the society. So he did a wrong act, so he was unworthy of his position. Guru is also called as an acharya, acharyavan purusho veda, or a person who has personally assimilated all the essence of shastras and has helped his disciples to adopt the ways. Ashwatthama failed to discharge the duties of a brahmana or teacher, and therefore he was liable to be rejected from the exalted position of a brahmana. So Shastra says that is why Narottam Das Thakur says Guru Sadhu Shastra. So these three things have to be consulted all the time. If there is any discrepancy, uh, like normally this is because Shastra is perfect, Acharyas are perfect, Guru is perfect. But if Guru happens to, like in this case, happens to not follow acharyas and shastra, then there has to be discrimination. A disciple should be able to know, distinguish between right and wrong. Um, so, which means that disciple also needs to know shastra. Um, so then, uh, only when the guru is in line with the sadhu and shastra, that the parampara will continue. Right? Otherwise, such a guru can be rejected if he proves himself unworthy of the position. So discrimination is required. Many people say that we give up or we surrender our intelligence to Guru at the time of Diksha. No, we don't surrender our intelligence. We surrender our independence. So there's a big difference. It's not like we become dumb. So we surrender independence in the sense that when we have to do something, we have to take the instructions of Guru as our life and soul. Not that Guru says something and then disciple says, no, 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 I don't agree with you. Like a normal conversation between two mortal beings. Uh, Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastri. So Guru is Sakshad Hari, uh, Lord Himself. So we will not be arguing, discussing with Krishna. Of course, I mean Krishna's very intimate devotees do that, like Arjuna does, gopis do, but that is when those devotees in that position. For us who are in this Vaidhi Bhakti stage, it is as good as Krishna's saying, and Krishna's orders have to be followed. So here Prabhupada is saying by custom, Ashwatthama was offered the same respect as offered to his father. Custom. Because his father was a great Brahmana, so his son was also customarily, he was respected as a great Brahmana. It was so because generally the people accept the son of a Brahmana as a real Brahmana by sentiment only. So Prabhupada is highlighting this, saying that we should not be sentimental about spiritual things. Most people are very sentimental. Oh, I want to do this because I like to do this, right? Or somebody else is doing this, so I will do it. Or somebody else is pressuring. I mean, whatever it is, all just sentiment. There is no rational, there is no tattva, right? So here, it's not like simply we accept son of a Brahmana as a Brahmana by sentiment. Right? He has to prove, he has to live like a Brahmana, right? And only then he should be accepted. So, but in spite of all this, though it was customarily only Draupadi was accepting, desired that Ashwatthama be at once released, as it was all the same, a good sentiment for her. This means that the devotee of the Lord can tolerate all sorts of turbulence personally, but still such devotees are never unkind to others, even to the enemy. So this is what I was saying last week, right? Like Prabhupada analyzes Draupadi's actions at two levels. One is to just help us understand how generally being emotional is not good, and specifically he talks about nature of women as being more emotional. But of course, like I said last week, it's not like a categorization, but generally people who are more emotional find it very difficult to make progress in spiritual life because they just take decisions very whimsically based on their emotions. They're affected even after coming to Krishna consciousness. They're affected by feelings, or they look at everything on the material platform. So all this is just very emotional dealing. But here, Prabhupada is also highlighting that Draupadi did not act like that just because she was a woman. She was not an ordinary lady. She was a great devotee. And so she's now not, she doesn't want to be unkind to others, even to the enemy. Because this was, see, we should understand this. This was a personal loss, right? When somebody has done something bad to us, amanina manadena. So as a devotee, we should try to forget and forgive and give respect even if we are not getting respect. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this is the one has to wear this Trinadapi Sunichena. It's like these words around the neck all the time. So here, Draupadi is very easy. He was captured, he could have been punished, humiliated, everything. But she said, no, 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 it's okay. I don't want to be unkind to anybody. See, this is very, very important actually. Many times we forget this. We should be real when how do we know if we are making progress when we put others in front of us, right? With respect to bhakti, okay, like give importance to everybody else except yourself, right? And if somebody treats you badly, just understand this is Krishna's mercy. He wants us to get rid of our false ego, right? And we accept it that way, and not that if we also converse saying that you know why did you do this to me, or who I am, and this kind of egoistic statements, egoistic conversations, that means that we are not making progress. So Prabhupada is saying here, these are the characteristics of one who is a pure devotee of the Lord, and we want to become pure devotees. We don't want to become mixed devotees, right? Because Prabhupada never wanted anybody to become mixed devotee, but unfortunately today Not everybody is going in this path. And somehow they are disqualifying themselves, saying, no, 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 this is not for us. This is all for great devotees. No, everybody has to be a pure devotee. And when we study Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's the whole idea of this notes and this study group that we are doing, is we should understand saying that these kind of instructions are there in Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, everywhere. And that is why these notes help, because when we go through these notes again, I feel, oh, this quality is not there in me, oh, that quality is not there in me, some other quality is not there in me. And this is required for us to become pure devotees. Then we make the effort, we pray to Guru, we pray to Krishna, and we make effort also. Like, see, it's not some magic will happen. In spite of our conditioning, we have to make effort. And when we put effort, we might fail multiple times. But the process of chanting, the process of devotional service that we are doing, it's purifying. So automatically, in course of time, we will get spiritual strength, which will help us overcome all these uh, deficiencies in us, anarthas in us. But we should stop being on the emotional platform. It's so difficult. I mean, I deal with so many devotees, so much emotional stuff, so much emotional stuff. Unfortunately, like Krishna has to put me in a situation such that I cannot become emotional. I don't become emotional. So he's giving me strength to deal with this. So many emotions. It's okay. It's great to have spiritual emotions, but we are stuck with material emotions, or we are stuck with mind and speculations, and without having any basis for Shastra, right? Or even if there is sometimes basis on Shastra, practicality also devotees sometimes don't understand. So, and they get emotionally entangled. So we have to understand that, it's a process of purification. And as we become purified, then we will understand more clearly what is right, what is wrong. Till then, we have to take guidance of those who are slightly more purer than us, who have gone through this path. That is the whole idea. I mean, last week when we were in Salem for initiation of few of our devotees, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj said, saying that, he said, congratulations to all the devotees and the guides and the devotees who have guided them so far and who will continue to guide them. That's so important, actually. We just think we can do bhakti independently. We cannot. And we don't become sentimental, emotional with our mentors. And then it puts mentors, yeah, and difficulty. People who are guiding them, they'll be like, oh my God, if I tell this, this person will feel like this. If I tell this, this person. So what should I tell? What should I not tell? Because we'll also be in the same position, right? Oh, because of me, somebody is being hurt. So then you're thinking, oh, okay, am I so exalted to be saying all this and hurting somebody? So then the whole intent is gone. So if you want to take guidance, you should keep emotions away and just say, okay, this is what needs to be done. Okay, I will do it. Material emotions, sentiments, these things will not help us make progress. Very clearly, Prabhupada is showing here, saying that as a devotee, we have to know what values we have to stick to. Right? Anyway, this is all important to note. Sarahasyo dhanurveda savisargopashamyamaha astragramascha bhavata shikshito yadanugrahat. It was by Dronacharya's mercy that you learned the military art of throwing arrows and the confidential art of controlling weapons. So Draupadi is also saying, see, not just that, he's also Dronacharya was your guru, and so he taught you military science. Mm. So then you have to respect him, and how do you respect him? By also respecting his son. In that sense, a little bit emotional, but core was that she was a devotee and she didn't want to be unkind to others. And Prabhupada here is saying a Brahmana should be patan. He should be teaching. How somebody might ask why Dronacharya was teaching military science. It's okay. Any department of knowledge from Vedic perspective is okay. But a Brahmana should teach. Patan, yajan, dana, pratigraha. Patan, studying, patan, to teach. Yajan, doing yagna. Yajan, getting yagna done from others. Dana, giving charity. Pratigraha, taking charity. These are 6 things that a Brahmana does. स एष भगवान् द्रोणः प्रजारूपेण वर्तते तस्यात्मनोऽर्थं पत्न्यास्ते नान्वगाद् वीरस्सु कृपी. He, Dronacharya, is certainly still existing, being represented by his son. His wife Kripi did not undergo sati with him because she had a son. So this is another material consideration saying that father is represented by his son. But it should be not just in words, but actually in action. That means that Ashwatthama should have been a real Brahmana, qualified Brahmana. A widow is a widow only in the name if there is son, if there is a son of her husband existing. So in either case, Ashwatthama was the representative of Dronacharya, and therefore killing Ashwatthama would be killing Dronacharya. That was the argument of Draupadi. So lot of see in this is another thing. Dharma is so complicated. Different people can take up different aspects of dharma and use them to substantiate their actions. And that is why, eventually we say, Vedascha sarve Rameva Vedya. Dharmam to Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. Krishna is the one who is given dharma. How do we understand what is dharma? Mahatmanastu Mam Partha. Mahajanayena Gatasya Panta. So we have to follow Mahatmas. And for us, Mahatmas are our gurus and acharyas. Right? So it makes life easy. Otherwise, there is so much of stuff. We could be right from one perspective, wrong from another perspective. It will be very difficult to decide our actions. And so we have to just follow Guru Sadhu Shastra. It just protects us from doing mistakes. Tadharmagna Mahabhaga Bhavatbhirgauravam Kulam Vrijinam Narati Praptum Pujyam Vandyam Abhikshnashaha. O most fortunate one who know the principles of religion, it is not good for you to cause grief to glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipful. This is very nice. A slight insult for a respectable family is sufficient to invoke grief. Therefore, a cultured man should always be careful in dealing with worshipful family members. So we have to be very careful in our dealings. Not just worshipful family members, but only worshipful people, specifically devotees. We have to be very, very careful dealing with devotees. Sometimes actually we don't understand the value of devotees and we just look at them like, one among them. Like I said, people deal with the guru this way. So we should not. We should understand our position. We should understand their position. Guru might be very friendly, right? But that doesn't mean that we think that we have come to that equal status. He's just being nice to us when he talks nicely, asks about our family, etc. Right? But it doesn't mean that we can think that we are equal status with him. And so we should respect. Actually, with Guru, the relationship is one of love and respect. Right? Love and respect, both. It's not just careless love, like or love without respect, meaning I'll do whatever I want. No, there is love, there's also respect. So that is important, very important to note when we're dealing with our Guru. Marodidasya janani Gautami pati devata yataham mritam vatsarta rodhimyashru mukhi muhu. My lord, do not make the wife of Dronacharya cry like me. I am agreed for the death of my sons. She did not cry constantly like me. See, this is actually Vedic etiquette. How a husband deals with wife, how wife deals with husband. It's not like I'm telling you do this, or why are you not doing this? You don't value my emotions. No. So he's making a request saying that my lord, my lord, giving the position, saying that you can decide what you want to do, but please consider this. Don't make the wife of Dronacharya cry like me. And she's also in the previous, she's already he's glorified Arjuna by saying you knower of religion. You're knower of religion. So a respectful way of dealing with, and this is also Vedic culture. That's why I keep saying today all relations have come down to animalistic dealings. Right? There is no etiquette. There is no value for relations. Be it how we deal with parents, be it how we deal with siblings, or be it how we deal with husband and wife, children, etc. Because we've never trained. And Bhagavatam trains us on so many aspects. Just see one line. But we should go into the mood of Bhagavatam. Only then we'll recognize all this, right? If we go into the mood of Draupadi and such a qualified lady, and she's making a humble request, saying that, please don't do like this. She need not cry constantly like me. It's beseeching, it's requesting. Mm. And look at her niswarthada, like complete selfless. She's saying she doesn't have to suffer like me. I am suffering. Why should she suffer like me? Today's world is completely opposite, saying, why I am suffering, why shouldn't she suffer? This is a devotee. And how will we become happy in our life? By living like these devotees. When we deal with other people like devotees do, then we'll automatically be happy. When we put ourselves at the end of the line, it makes us really feel happy because Krishna is pleased. And Krishna is saying, oh, nice, this devotee is understanding is coming to his real position. So he becomes pleased, we become pleased. So you please go ahead. You please take. Prabhu, you are senior. You please take. You're elder. You can't stand your children. Whatever, so many considerations, right? And we experience this when we go to, yatra, where people have to be selfless. And we see still people are so selfish. And that's why we take people on yatra. When you go on yatra, all these things are put to test. How much we are ready to listen to what others are saying, how much we can work together amongst with devotees, how much we can put ourselves at the end of the line, how much we can serve others, how much humble mood we are in. So many things, right? So it's package. Anyway. Kopitam brahmakulam rajanyer ajitatmabihi tatkulam pradahatyashu tanubandam sucharpitam. If the kingly administrative order, being unrestricted in sense control, offends the Brahmana order and enrages them, then the fire of that rage burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon them all. Of course, this was true if Ashwatthama was a real, he was like living like a Brahmana, he was functioning like a Brahmana. So this statement is true, but only because she was considering Ashwatthama as son of a Brahmana and hence a Brahmana. But otherwise, this is generally true. If a Brahmana is, which is what happened with Parshurama, right? So the administrative order offends Brahmanas, then they're destroyed. So it's very important. That is why Krishna says, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Gopranaya Hitacha. And the whole episode between the four Kumaras and Jaya Vijaya, it just upholds how Lord deals with Brahmanas. Because the Kumaras were not devotees yet. They were just exalted Brahmanas, right? And the Lord dealt with them in such a way that he was willing to punish his own devotees. Of course, there are a lot of inner underlying reasons for that because he wanted to exchange Veera Rasa with them, etc. But externally, he's showing how much he respects the Brahmana clan. But the Brahmanas also have to be qualified, not just because I'm son of a Brahmana, I deserve respect, etc. श्रुतुवाच धर्मं न्यायं सकरुणं निर्व्यलीकं समं महत् राजा धर्मसुतो राज्ञाः प्रत्यनन्दद्वचो द्विजाः. So the Goswami said, O Brahmanas, King Yudhishthira fully supported the statements of Queen, which were in accordance with the principles of religion and were justified, glorious, full of mercy and equity, and without duplicity. They were accordance with principles of religion, but which principle of religion? That's why this is all dharma is there are multiple levels, right? So according to principle, so she didn't say make any unfactual statements, right? Completely factual, and they were as per dharma, right? And they were justified. Their actions were justified. How they were justified? Various angles of vision. That's why dharma is very, very, very delicate, very complex. And they were glorious because actually when we go through so these adjectives that have been given here can be analyzed when we go through all the statements Draupadi made and you analyze them, you will realize that each of them were highlighting some particular quality, and that is what Sukadeva Goswami, Sutta Goswami is identifying here. Where he's analyzed each of those statements and said, okay, these were as per principles of religion, these were justified, these were glorious, these were full of mercy and equity, and there was no duplicity. He was not just saying to please somebody else, and internally she had intense, anger towards Ashwatthama. And this is very important. This duplicitousness, inside one, outside something else. And this is, so Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says in Vaishnava Ke, saying that, this is the worst quality for a devotee, is to be duplicitous, is not to be transparent. I've seen many devotees have problems, but they don't tell their exact problem to people. They will tell whatever they want to tell because they still have ego, false ego. Oh, how can I reveal myself to this person? Then this person will know how fallen I am. Somebody who has feeling like this cannot make progress in spiritual life because everywhere they will be hiding, they will be camouflaging stuff, they'll be duplicitous. So nobody can really help such a person. And the same thing, when we are like this, Krishna will also say, okay, cheater, this person is a cheater. He's saying something externally, but internally he has some other feelings, some other feeling. I've seen like a lot of people I've experienced, like who are externally very, very humble. So they literally fall at your feet, but internally they're not actually humble. They're not, their externality doesn't match with their internal. So I'm very wary about people who are just externally floweryly humble, flowery, like, like literally, like saying words, like literally bowing at your leg at every moment. And, body language is so humble. Because normally devotees who are actually humble don't have to show externally that they're humble. They'll show in their actions. Of course, if it is required somewhere to show external humility also, which is good. But it's not that more than action, real action, not just body language. And so we should not be duplicitous. I've seen many a times when such people, eventually they turn out duplicitous. Externally, they were being so humble. Internally, they have very bad thoughts. Humility means considering ourselves like really lowest. And how can such a person evaluate, then, show that other person is wrong, right? That's not humility, unless that person is in the position of a guru. Otherwise, if one is humble, then they'll think, oh, I am not qualified. On what basis am I evaluating this person? I don't even have the qualification to evaluate. I myself am not qualified. That is real humility. Right? Not just externally saying, oh, Prabhu, you're so great. You're so this, that, and all that. And then say, this person, this duplicitousness, not going to make progress. Cheating. So she was not duplicitous and she was full of mercy and equity. Full of mercy. It's okay. I suffered. It's okay. Let her not suffer. Equity. I am mother. She is a mother. Let her not suffer like me. And they're also as per principles of religion. So Yudhishthir Maharaj actually approved of her statements, but Krishna did not approve. So it is very important. That's why this dharma is like very, very delicate. We can't. Finally, we have to just follow Guru and Krishna. Nakulah Sahadevascha Yudhano Dhananjaya Bhagavan Devaki Putro Ye Chanye Yascha Yoshitaha. Nakula and Sahadeva, and also Satyaki, Arjuna, the personally regarded Lord Sri Krishna, son of Devaki, and the ladies and others all unanimously agreed with the king. So here Krishna agreed with the king because what he was saying is correct. Okay, this is as per dharma, but that's not what Krishna wanted. He agreed with what the king is saying. King is saying, okay, your words are glorious. Yes, your words are glorious. Your words are full of mercy. Yes, they were as per religion. Yes, not duplicities. Yes, agreed. They all agreed to what Draupadi had said and what Yudhishthir Maharaj had said. Tatrahamarshito bhimastasya shreyan vadasnutah na bharturnatmanascharte yohan suktan shishunduta. Bhima, however, angrily disagreed. Angrily disagreed with them. Disagreed meaning intention of all that was saying, forgive Ashwatthama. He disagreed. No forgiving. Kill the culprit, recommended killing the culprit who had murdered sleeping children for no purpose and for neither his nor his master's interest. This is another aspect of Dharma, right? That he did a heinous act. So he should be killed. But there's another consideration that he was a Brahma Bandhu. So there are so many religious considerations. Each of them, when seen in silo, seemed okay. But when seen all together and considering what Krishna wanted, decision that was taken by Arjuna eventually was very different. Nishamya Bhima Gaditam Draupadyascha Chaturbhujaha Alokya Vadanam Sakyur Idam Aha Sanniva Chaturbhuja. Krishna suddenly brought out his two other arms, Chaturbhuja, personality of Godhead, after hearing the words of Bhima, Draupadi, and others, saw the face of his dear friend Arjuna and he began to speak as if smiling. So, first, Draupadi, why four arms? Because literally there seemed to be like Draupadi and Bhima would have like physically, getting aggressive. So here it says Lord Sri Krishna had two arms, and why he is designated as formed four-armed is explained by Sridhar Swami. Both Bhima and Draupadi held opposite views about killing Ashwatthama. Bhima wanted him to be immediately killed, whereas Draupadi wanted to save him. We can imagine Bhima ready to kill while Draupadi is obstructing him. And in order to prevent both of them, the Lord discovered another two arms. And this is very beautiful. See, when Arjuna was perplexed about what to do with Ashwatthama, Lord Krishna is a very dear friend of Arjuna, voluntarily took up the matter just to make a solution. Voluntarily. He didn't see this is the beauty about Krishna, right? He's Bhakta Vatsala. He puts us in test, but he also helps us out. So he saw the face of his dear friend Arjuna. He's saying, oh, Arjuna is in trouble. So many things are happening. So Krishna knows that Arjuna is now going to be confused about what to do because he's the one who has to take a decision now. So he began to speak because he wanted to help Arjuna out. As if smiling, because see, like I said, Krishna, whatever he does is subtle. Everything Krishna does is subtle. It's very difficult to understand unless one is really pure. He cannot understand, right? So as if smiling. It's not like smiling as in some happy stuff, but okay, Arjuna is going to get into this, but I am going to give him a solution. So like a friendly smile. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Brahma Bandhurna Hantavya Atatai Vadarhana Mayaivo Bhayam Amnatham Paripahya Nushasanam Kuru Pratishtutam Satyam Yattat Shantvayata Priyam Priyam Cha Bhimasenasya Panchalya Mahyameva Cha. So he's helping out. He's saying, Personal God Sri Krishna said, oh, a friend of a Brahmana is not to be killed. Brahma Bandhu should not be killed. But if he is an aggressor, he must be killed. If one is an aggressor, he has to be killed. But if one is a friend of a Brahmana, he should not be killed. All these rulings are in the scriptures and you should act accordingly. You cannot break rules. You have to fulfill your promise to your wife. So you have to act as per dharma. He's also giving some hint. You also have to fulfill promise to your wife. You have promised him saying that you're going to kill Ashwatthama. So you have to fulfill your promise to your wife. You must also act to the satisfaction of Bhimasena and also to me, satisfaction of me. Bhima wanted to kill. Satisfaction of me. What Krishna wanted, that is not revealing here. But he's saying, okay, you should do as per what I am. You should satisfy me also. Such a complex situation. Dharma has to be followed. Words fulfill promise made to the wife. Satisfy Bhima, satisfy Krishna. This is the devotee's life. But Krishna is giving the hint here. Krishna is given the hint in one line. He said he should not be killed and he should be killed. So he's answered Arjuna. And Arjuna was super smart, right? Because he was a pure devotee of Krishna. Arjuna was perplexed because Ashwatthama was to be killed as well as spared. As a Brahma Bandhu or a worthless son of a Brahmana, Ashwatthama was not to be killed. But he was at the same time an aggressor also. And according to the rulings of Manu in Manu Samhita, an aggressor, even though he be a Brahmana, he is to be killed. Dronacharya was certainly a Brahmana in the true sense of the term, but because he stood in the battlefield, he was killed. But although Ashwatthama was an aggressor, he stood without any fighting weapons. Now, another consideration. Ashwatthama was an aggressor, but he was standing without any weapons. The ruling is that an aggressor, when he is without weapon, cannot be killed or chariot. All these were certain perplexities. So complex. See, it's not easy. It's like law book. Right? Lawyers say, no, this article, that article, here, there, they'll connect all these and say, hence. For that, somebody should have read all these law books. And we have no idea. We have no idea about any of this. On what basis are we taking decisions? On what basis are we doing things? Obviously, they'll result in some sin because we don't know completely. Besides that, Arjuna had to keep the promise he had made before Draupadi just to pacify her. And he also had to satisfy both Bhishma, Bhima, and Krishna, who advised killing him. So Prabhupada is making clear that Krishna wanted him also to be killed. This dilemma was present before Arjuna, and the solution was awarded by Krishna. Krishna awarded the solution. Kill and not kill. He is the solution. Sutavacha. Arjuna sasagnaya harer hardam mathasina manim jahara murdhanyam dvijasya sahamurdhajam. Suta Goswami said, just then Arjuna could understand the motive of the Lord by his equivocal orders. He's so smart. And thus with his sword he severed both hair and jewel from the head of Ashwatthama. So Arjuna was very clear. He was so sharp. Prabhupada is saying here, compromise was selected by Arjuna by his sharp intelligence. And he separated the jewel from the head of Ashwatthama. So sharp intelligence. How do we get sharp intelligence? Purity. For the sharp intelligence, one has to be pure. One should not be affected by contamination, by prejudices, biases. To be very sharp means no emotional entanglement, surrender to Krishna, because then Paramatma will guide. Krishna here has already guided, and Paramatma from within would have also guided, right? So this is very important, that we become pure. And when we become pure, we see everything as the Lord wanted, or as the Guru wants, not as how we want. When we look at things the way we want it, then it will not be sharp intelligence. It will not be clear intelligence. So Brahminical culture, that is why Prabhupada wanted to create Brahmanas. Brahmanas means not just only for men. I mean, even women, they're serving Brahmana husbands, then they also are Brahmanas, Brahmanis. So Brahmana Patni. So, and the generally Brahmanas sharp intelligence, like Chanakya, sharp intelligence, right? And all these kings were all Rajarshis, right? So they were Brahmanas and Kshatriyas because they were trained. And of course, beyond all these devotees, so purity, right? Complete purity. And this is, being one. Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita elsewhere also says, what is being one with Krishna? Being one with Krishna is exactly knowing his mind, knowing what he wants. But we cannot say, I am one with Krishna. So actually Krishna told me to do this, so I am doing it. No. For us in our position, it is aligning with what Guru is saying, what Shastra is saying. Not whimsically saying, oh, no, I think that Krishna wants me to do this. On what basis will we say? Sometimes, people say, I got this in the dream, so I am doing. No, even if it comes in the dream, we have to validate with authorities, saying that, this came in my dream. Is this okay? Is this as per, is this what Guru wants? Is this what Shastra is saying? Not just we think that we are so pure that Krishna will come and speak to us, like Krishna spoke to Madhavendra Puri or many other pure devotees, right? We might be qualified, but a qualified person always is wary. He always wants to ascertain, make sure that it is right with authorities. Only a whimsical, non-qualified person will think, no, Krishna. See, has Krishna come and spoken to you in your dream? No. Then how do you know? So, I'm more qualified because Krishna has come and spoken to me in my dreams. This is not being qualified, right? So, we have to be very clear, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. No mental speculation. we might be working completely on the material platform, mental platform. So we might have some dreams. It's good. It's very auspicious that Krishna comes in our dreams. But that doesn't mean that we just take that itself as ultimate, because it could be just a mental speculation we have created. We have to then go align with Guru Sadhu Shastra. Vimucharasana baddham balahatya hataprabam tejasa manina heenam shibiran nirayapayat. He, Ashwatthama, had already lost his bodily luster due to infanticide, and now, moreover, having lost the jewel from his head, he lost even more strength. So there's a jewel on the head also. One was the shika, and apparently there's a jewel also. Thus, he was bound and driven out of the camp. Simultaneously killed and not killed. So this is killed and not killed, because cutting off the shika is for a brahmana is as good as killed. So this is another important point. Actually, those who are brahmanas, meaning who are getting brahman initiated, etc. If they don't have shika, they're shudras. Actually, even for those who have first diksha, harinam diksha also, men have to grow shika, because that is the direction for brahmanas. Otherwise, treated as shudras, varnashrama, right? So that cutting off the shika has a very important significance. So it's like killed, being killed literally. Vapanam dravinādanam stānān niryapanam tatha esha hi brahma bandhunam vadonanyosti daihikaha. Cutting the hair from his head, depriving him of his wealth, and driving him from his residence are the prescribed punishments for a brahma bandhu, relative of a brahmana. There is no injunction for killing the body. So this was another dharma. This was another sutra, dharmic sutra, saying that for somebody like this, for a brahma bandhu, and no killing him, no killing the body. So you cut the hair, take away his wealth, drive him away from his residence, as good as killing. This is the punishment prescribed, not killing the body. So Arjuna knew this, like, picking a needle from a haystack. So many rules, and Arjuna picked up exactly what need to be applied. Putra shoka tura sarve pandava saha krishnaya swanam mritanam yat krityam chakrur nirharanadikam. Thereafter, the sons of Pandu and Draupadi, overwhelmed with grief, performed the proper rituals for the dead bodies of their relatives. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purpose, the first canto, 7th chapter entitled Son of Drona. Okay, I think we'll stop here. The next chapter is an amazing chapter, raised by Queen Kunti. We'll continue that. We'll start that tomorrow. Krishna willing. Tomorrow. Anybody has any questions, you can kindly ask. Bhagavatam generally has so many points to be made, right? So I'm hoping that all of you are making some notes, points. So maybe we should restart that practice of asking people what points actually impacted them, or what points appeal to them. Any devotees want to share?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Prabhu.
Many points, but like everyone has to become pure devotee. And with Guru, relationship should be love and respect. And duplicity. And sharp intellect, one should be pure. The Krishna is Bhaksavasala, I put in test and also helps. Okay. And everyone in dreams comes like, yeah, it won't come, but we have to validate with the Shastra and alignment with Guru Sadhu.
Very nice. Okay. Anybody else to add anything?
Danvat Pranam, Prabhuji. I have a question, Prabhuji.
Yes.
We discussed about the emotional thing, like material emotions. So I like feel personally like we are still stuck up with being in female bodies also, and still we are stuck up with this thing. Like we are practicing our sadhana, doing everything, but sometimes the material circumstances influence us so much, like the mind is disturbed. So I want to get some practical tips how to overcome that thing, like emotional.
Yeah. So first thing is take out this disqualification that is there in your mind that you are in a female body and hence you have to deal with these emotions. Actually, it's not a question of whether it's a female body or a male body. It's just the prakriti we have acquired. Right. So female body is also a prakriti, is a type of prakriti. Male body is also a type of prakriti. And bhakti is something which helps us transcend the prakriti. Right. I've seen many devotees disqualifying themselves and want in some sense, like, see, I've said this multiple times, right? We should not disqualify ourselves. When we disqualify ourselves like this, Krishna will say, okay, if you think that you want to be, you're bound because of your emotions, it's fine. Because we are not saying that I don't want to be bound by emotions, right? Subtly, I mean, I'm not pointing at you, Mataji, but generally I'm saying, like, when we make a statement like this, there is a kind of a foundational basis on which we are thinking, saying that, okay, I'm emotionally stuck because I'm a lady, right? So I'm saying first, please remove that from your mind. It's a
Yes, but
it's a nature. It's just a nature, right? And there are, I know men who are emotional. I was super emotional, right? But bhakti is super powerful. Please understand, bhakti is super powerful. It transcends the bodies and natures that we have acquired. So what needs to be done is just come to the platform that I'm not the body. Yeah, but it's so difficult, right? So some practical things that I look at when I get emotionally or when I get affected by what people are saying, and I get emotionally affected, but then I drop it, right? And how do I go about it? So first thing is I understand, saying that if something is hurting me, then it's my just karma phala. Krishna wants me to get purified, so I'm happy to accept it, right? So that person is just a postman, and let me not take it too seriously. Second thing is I always look at what is the learning in the situation, right? So if somebody is like beating me up with words or insults, then I say, okay, what is it? Why Krishna wants me to go through this? There must be a reason, because everything is in Krishna's hand. So if Krishna wants me to go through this, then there must be something that I need to learn. And especially if something happens again and again, okay, this is very, very important. If some situation or type of situation is happening again and again, same. In fact, at one point of time in my life, I had come to a situation like I would have said, okay, now see, this is going to happen. After that, this will happen, this will happen, this will happen. And it used to be same, and the roles were I would say something, then maybe my wife would say something, maybe somebody else would say something, but it's the same thing. And really saying that, oh, this is going on like a drama, like, I'm just replaying, and the same sequence is happening. And I realize, isn't it stupid? I mean, Krishna is teaching me so many times and is repeating the same sequence so that I can learn from it. Can I break this? So if somebody said something, the continuation of the sequence or this episode will happen when I say this thing. Can I just prevent myself from saying this thing and I break the sequence? So we should understand that Krishna is giving these opportunities for us to learn and move forward, make progress. If we don't look at things from a spiritual perspective and if we are simply thinking emotionally, so for example, somebody said something to us unfair. The first thing that comes to our mind, he was so unfair. I didn't deserve this. Self-pity. So when we start wallowing in self-pity, then we can't come out of it. We can't learn. We just think we are qualified to pity ourselves. But what is the use of this self-pity? It's not going to take us closer to Krishna. So we have to be practical. We have to be pragmatic. We have to say, okay, this happened. Okay, now what is it that I need to do? What do I need to learn from this situation? How is it helping me to go closer to Krishna? And sometimes even with these thoughts, I mean, I've had situations where I know exactly what is happening. Still, I'm not able to control. Then pray. Then pray. First is to know the reason, because when we know the reason, saying that this is what I need to learn, so half of the battle is won. We stop, we always then start looking, okay, this is the reason. Okay, Krishna wants me to give up attachment to body. Krishna wants me to give up, this false ego. Krishna wants me to give up this. So then every time that situation happens, first we will bring that to the mind. So then say, okay, this is the reason. So why am I getting affected? Let me try hard, right? But even after trying hard, if you're not able to get past, then pray, cry like a baby. Pray to Guru Krishna, Acharya, saying that please give me mercy. I'm not able to. I know this is wrong. I know the way I'm thinking is wrong. The way I'm feeling is wrong. And I'm not able to get over it. And then mercy will flow. I mean, this is repeated. I've seen this sequence multiple times in my life. Because we don't have that spiritual strength to overcome situations just like that. I mean, it might sound like, no, I'm not belittling anybody's situation or saying, no, it's so trivial. No, nothing is trivial. But the process is to first know the reason why that is happening, and then be very practical, beg for mercy. And just take me as that human person, human being out of that situation. Take out the thought process, false ego thought process, meaning I am this body, I'm, this person's wife, children, whatever, right? Whatever relation is causing me that pain. Stop thinking from that body, from that position of being in this body and thinking that this body is me. Right? Which is very difficult, but we have to understand this is just temporary. For some time I'm here. So how do we think about this? For example, we go on, like I was saying, on a yatra, and something we have to be with some roommate. Fortunately, for whatever reason, Krishna has given us a very challenge, and not very easy to deal with a roommate. For 5 days, what will we do? We'll say 5 days only, na, and just put up with it. So this also is like that, 100 years only, na, or 50 years only, na, or 70 years only, na, I'll put up with it. So it's all temporary. It's just temporary. Everything is temporary. Why do we have to take these things so seriously? What is more important with every situation? How do I understand? How do I purify myself? How do I get closer to Krishna? That's all our goal is. Bhagavad Gita, that's why Krishna says that yogi, he works only for purification. Only for purification. Whatever we do should be only for purification. Just make this point. Whatever I do should be just for purification. Because when I'm pure, I will do everything only for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Is that okay? Ruchira Mataji, I don't know if I completely
Yes,
answered.
yes, Prabhuji, very helpful. Thank you, very well explained. I'll work on it. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, anybody else wants to make any other statements from what helped you in the class? Yeah, Nakul Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful lecture. And one point I just wanted to ask the question is, we say that we have to follow the Shastra, religious principles and all. But right now we don't have that much knowledge. Like we have grown up in English schools and all, but we don't know Veda Shastra and all. So how that we have to start learning now?
Yeah, so one is, see, basically Vedic science, like Vedas are so vast, right? So it will be very difficult to, that is why Prabhupada said, we have to go back to Varnashrama, but not the traditional Varnashrama. We can't go back to traditional Varnashrama, like full-fledged Varnashrama. So various attempts are being made by various devotees to help us understand what our actual duties are. Now, some devotees take this thing of saying that I'm a devotee, I don't care about dharma at all, right? Which is not a good platform because, I mean, we have to first be Brahmanas. Now, who is a Brahmana? Brahmana is one who knows dharma, right? So, so specifically, at least I know my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj is writing books to help us on this, right? There's one book which is working on, which is Vaishnava culture, etiquette and behavior. So primarily we have to align ourselves with Vaishnava way of behavior, right? And etiquette, right? Because if we go by general Varnashrama, there are too many things, different things for different classes of people, types of people, goals, etc., etc. So we have to come down to just focusing on what does a Vaishnava need to do. What are the rules and regulations for a Vaishnava? How does a Vaishnava society work? Right, and for these things, ideally we have to study existing Vaishnava societies. Like for example, Madhvas, they've had traditional Vaishnava societies for a long time. So many devotees are studying that. Many devotees are studying Sri Vaishnava Parampara, and then bringing together the essence, and that we can actually find in many of at least farm communities that are under the guidance of Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, and many devotees are slowly and steadily. This is becoming more like, for example, Maharaj wrote this book, Women and Mothers or Masters, completely Vedic culture, how women need to look at themselves. So like this, there are in bits and pieces attempts to help us understand. But like I said, primary, this one it should be Vaishnava based practices that are required for Vaishnavas, because we shouldn't become like smartas. We shouldn't become just through following rules for the sake of following rules, right? All the intention of all rules is to please Krishna, please Vishnu. So what are those rules? How should we follow? These things. So yeah, we need more guidance clearly. Like when we read Prabhupada's purports multiple times, many points are made, but still it's not. I mean, we might not be sharp enough to understand everything by our own efforts. So some of these books will help. So we should go for those books which are helping us to understand Daivi Varnashrama. Daivi Varnashrama is keeping Krishna in the center, and that helps us to like simple thing I want to say, like last week we were in Salem, and Maharaj has rules when initiation. For example, men have to shave their heads, leave a shika, and wear a dhoti and chadar, like upari, like traditional way, and Matajis have to wear sari, simple sari, Maharaj said, not flashy sari, simple sari, cover their heads. Hair has to be parted in the middle, and those who have husbands, etc., sindoor, and they have to braid their hair to this detail. Why? Because this is Vedic way of life. No, many Matajis could not get to the. I mean, they just couldn't appreciate braiding hair and initiation. What does this have to do anything? This is Vedic Vaishnava way of life, right? So things like this might seem very small, but very important, because they just show our mood of surrender, to Vedic principles. And like I said, Vaishnava principles, Vedic principles are what we need to follow. And yeah, we need to keep learning, hear from senior devotees. That's why Vaishnava etiquette, we have to understand culture. That book is going to be very, very critical for ISKCON. Vaishnava culture, etiquette, and behavior. But it's still some years away. I'm really praying that the book comes out fast, because it's going to change. I mean, of course, change for whom? Those who are interested in learning these things, it'll change. Most people I've seen so far have said, no, 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 this is all too much for me. I'm a devotee. Somehow I'll just chant Hare Krishna. Such people are not going to get excited about this. I'm super excited whenever that book comes, because it's really going to set the standard, right? Like saying, see, this is Vaishnava way of life. And then when we follow that naturally, like simple thing, right? I'll say, like people, wearing dhoti kurta, right, is a Vaishnava way of life, right? So there's no pant shirt, for example. Yeah, and people, as soon there's a yatra, people come pant and shirt, and then they go there immediately. They switch from pant shirt to dhoti kurta. I prefer to remain in dhoti kurta throughout, right? It just makes me feel so natural, right? In terms of, yeah, this is the life of a devotee. It just makes me feel so free, right? First of all, packing, I don't have to worry about taking pant, shirt, and this and that, all that. And it just makes you feel free, right? See, this is nice, and I'm following Vedic culture. So many things are there, right? To note, we can gradually learn, but it's a very, very important question, Nakul Prabhu, and I'm sure Murari Prabhu can help you as well because he more closer to these things than I am, possibly being a brahmachari. So he can definitely help you. And if you get some notes, you can please pass it on to the rest of the group as well.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we can close. Ananta Kota Vaishnava with Guru Srila Prabhupada. So tomorrow at 8:30 evening, you can all join if you have it.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Hare
Dandavat.
Krishna.